Come on, man. Come on, man. I've been immortalized, Heather B. That was one of those things on my wish list right there to get Swizz Beatz.
Sure.
Come on, man. Swizz saying your name on the track, man. You already in the history books, man. We got the Grammy Award-winning recording artist, DJ, producer, art collector, dad. He's the first person to really teach me about the art world. I tell this story all the time. We rode on a plane together, and he sat and talked with me for about 4 to 5 hours. This was 15 years ago. And then the world caught up. I had a chance to hang out with him with the one and only Rich Nice, who's on the line with us right now the other day. And, Rich, do me a favor. Explain what that scene was like when we went to the DMX listening session.
Man, listen, Grand Rising, everybody. First it was at a studio, invite only. So just from the name of the studio, you already know what was going on. When you walk in the door, before you could even get to the studio, it's like a MC roll call. So you're just seeing lyrics before you even walk into the room. You're just seeing lyrics hanging out in the hallway. So as you walk in, you're like, man, this is crazy. Now, you know, not many people got a chance to go to Vacant Lot. I've been to Vacant Lot. I was up there with the God Grease. That's when I first met Swizz. You know what I'm saying? And then he took me downstairs, and I met Swizzy for the first time. And it's so crazy because the energy that he had that night when I met him in Vacant Lot was the same exact energy that he had that night when we went to go hear this project. And I'm saying to myself, it can't be. This was a million years ago that I met this dude. How is his energy equal in that same night? And it was crazy. So when we got in there, the one thing I commend him on is that it was a special moment. So he said, listen, you got to put your phones down. You know, we're not having meetings and none of that stuff. And if someone started to talk, he would wait and say, I'm going to let you have your meeting before I play because that's how important the music is. You saw me, I wasn't talking to nobody. I didn't pull. You know, I like to take photos. I ain't take one photo when the music was playing. I wasn't talking. I didn't want to shake your hand when the music was playing because I wasn't there to shake no hands. I was there to hear that X project. So the energy was so phenomenal. Man, honestly, it made me feel like I didn't mind missing being outside for a year just to be there one day.
Yes, that's true indeed, man. So many people came to pay their respects and was honored to be there. And I want to say, Swizz, you were the perfect host, man. You found a way to make everybody feel like they belong there. You shook hands. You looked people in their eyes. Yo, Swizz even cracked a joke on my hat, Heather. I was like, damn, do I crack back at him?
Damn. Let that rock. Let that rock.
I had to let it rock, man. We got Swizz Beatz on here, ladies and gentlemen. Swizz Beatz. What up, brother?
Zone. Hey, day, Sway. Hey, day, Sway.
It is.
Come on, Swizz. We're here to celebrate the 8th and final album, Exodus, which is dropping Friday, May 28th. Executive produced by you. I want to say thank you because, you know, I don't know if we ever find closure when we lose someone like that in the physical. But you really manifested the energy and the spirit better than anyone else possibly could have that night. And I felt like I was right there next to X, you know, and I've had my share of experiences with him throughout the years. I mean, I've had interviews with that man where we cried and hugged together afterwards, you know, and I always knew he was a special spirit, special human being. But I say the same about you, Swizz, because I know it ain't easy. And you said this in that session, that people might think you're making it through it, but it's hard. But you were able to pull through, and you were able to share these backstories. Angie Martinez was like, Swizz, tell us the stories, man. And I don't know if you knew what you were doing. I know you were just doing it, but you provided a lot of healing in that room that night, Monday. And I know for me personally, I haven't been out. You know what I mean? So I haven't been outside. That was my first time really coming outside. Afterwards, I said, it's time to get outside. Swizz is telling me it's time. I was so crazy. I was at home trying to get on the Zoom. Where they at? You know.
So silly.
I was like, where's Sway at?
He says zone, Sway, not zoom.
Oh, he says zone. Okay. Yeah. So, but I rushed down. You know, I rushed down to hear the album. But I think what's going to happen now, though, Swizz, I say that because I think that moment was a microcosm to what we're going to see the world feel when they hear this album, it's going to be healing. So I want to say thank you and salute to you for being that pillar through all of this. And let's talk about this album, man, because one of the things you said is that X was in the best spirit you had ever seen him in all the years of recording. Like, would you put that up to all the years of recording?
He was the best. His spirit was the best since the first 2-3 albums. I haven't seen him like that since the first 1, 2, and 3 albums. You know, he was in a very, because after Versus, he was feeling excited because he got his flowers, and then he seen that the people still loved his music, and that was the motivation to stay in LA at Snoop Studio to finish the album. And so he was motivated. And even before that, you know, the reason why he gained a lot of weight was because he was doing the right thing. And so even after when we finished recording, we were supposed to do a 2-month workout camp. So we was getting ready to go for the workout camp before the unfortunate situation happened. You know, I couldn't predict this happening because he was in a whole different space. So what happened like shocked me and caught me off guard because that wasn't even his vibration at the time.
How did you? I couldn't even imagine what it must have felt like. Did you have a coping mechanism, or you just lived day by day, moment by moment?
You know, I it goes in and out.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of hide in the creativity. I kind of hide in this project. But you know, when I'm by myself, it just comes and goes. I can't control it. You can't control it. Like, you know, but at least I can listen to his music now. Before, like, I couldn't even listen to his music. It was just taking me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I can at least listen to his music because I just came to the terms where he's finally resting. You know, he's finally at peace. You know, my brother's been going through a lot since we've known him. And he came here, you know, almost as a prophet. You know, he would help people before he helped himself. He was a humanitarian. You know, he was a different guy. I would watch him take his clothes off and give it to people in need, like in broad daylight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he medicated. Like, he was different. Like, it's not, you know, he didn't care about, you know, jewelry, no cars, no nothing, but he definitely cared how your day was going. He definitely cared if you needed something, if you needed a word or two, you know, and I haven't really seen that in our industry like that, you know, on this type of level. X was for the people for sure.
Absolutely. Swizz Beatz is here, 888-742-3345. We're talking about the final album, Exodus, which is dropping Friday, and it is named, his son is named Exodus, right?
Yep.
And so, was it already named before he passed?
Yeah, it wasn't Exodus. It's dark and hell is hot again.
Okay.
So we was going for that zone. And but he always loved the name Exodus. You know, he got it tatted on his neck. His son's name is Exodus. He always loved that Exodus title. So we was gonna get to an Exodus album, even if we had the old title. But when he passed, Exodus just felt more appropriate.
Okay, HB, you want to jump in?
Swizz, what's up? It's Heather. How you doing? Thank you so much.
What's up, Queen?
What's up? I just want to say thank you because not too many men are able to express themselves the way you have been able to express yourself and speak so truthfully yet humbly about losing a brother. And I thought that your words resonated to so many of our other brothers out here, and it helped us as women too to understand what our men go through emotionally, mentally, and even physically sometimes when they lose someone so close. And to hear you speak and speak so eloquently and manage to find a way even to bring in, you know, the legal part of it and the legalities and just have us as people and families of color, you know, just start to look at life and walk in it so differently. I thank you, brother, from the bottom of my heart for opening up like that and speaking to us as people in your hip hop community, as your family culturally. Thank you so much because it shed so much necessary light that we needed. And that's just what I wanted to say to you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Swizz Beatz, man, you got the nice radio Swizz Beatz voice on this morning. I don't know
Oh,
if
you
y'all
hear it
noticed that,
today,
man.
right, Sway? I'm like, wow.
That's the. I'm finished. They working me so hard, but it's not about me. I got to do it for the dog.
Amen.
I got to do it for him. So whether I'm tired, whether whatever, we got to do it.
Absolutely. Tracy, you want to jump in?
Absolutely. Yeah. Come on. Swizz, so happy to hear your voice and to have your energy on the air with us. Every single thing that HB said, I completely mirror those sentiments. Two things that are coming to mind and to heart right now are because we're having so many conversations about grieving now. I think in the forefront in recent years more than ever, a lot of times grieving has been a very quiet, private, concealed, and oftentimes avoided process. You know what I mean? And to see you on stage, like when it came to the beautiful memorial that we had for X at Barclays, for those who may be in a position where they have to speak at the memorial for their loved one that has passed, what can you share in preparing that type of speech that someone is not looking forward to giving, Is that something you come off the top from the heart, or is that something you like write in advance, share with others?
I definitely didn't write my speech. I felt like X spoke through me, to be honest. When I went up there, I had a whole different mindset of what I was going to say. And then when I spoke, other words came out. Other words came out, and they were serious words. But I said what I said, and I wouldn't even take it back because it was the truth. We can't run from our truth, and it just felt like X just like pushed me. It was like, man, go ahead, stop playing, because it was just I would have framed it up a little bit nicer, but. For some reason, my filter was gone, and I just wanted to say what I wanted to. I said what I said, and but usually you would write something, But how do you prepare for tragedy, right? Like I definitely wasn't prepared for X's, for this loss. Like I said, I was caught off guard. It wasn't no indications. Different times before. I probably would have been a little bit more prepared because it was just, there was super, super worse times. He was in a good space this time. And so for him to just go like that, he called me and he was like, told me he wanted to be next to me. He wanted to come and check me. And I was on my way out the country and I was like, man, you should come with me on this trip. We should just, it'll be good for you. Let it get away for like a week, reset, come back, get into the workout zone. And once he heard the flight was 17 hours, he was like, man, I ain't trying to be next to you that long. I said, no, I'm telling you, we got the studio on the plane, this, that. He ain't want to hear none of it. He's like, I'm going to check back in with you later. I said, cool. Went on the trip. 2 days later, he texted me, and he just out of nowhere, he texted me and said, man, he was like, I just want you to know I'm grateful for everything you ever done for me, and I love you. And I wrote him back. I was like, brothers for life, love you too. That was like the last text. And 2 days later, he transitioned.
Wow.
So it was crazy.
Yeah, man. Geez, thanks for sharing that too. Wow, it's just good hearing that he was in such good spirits because you wonder about that. Last time we had saw X Swizz was when was that, Heather? About a year prior, he was headlining the
Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend. We usually host this big festival in Minneapolis. It's a sound set, and we were hosting in Big Horse, and X got to see each other. They hadn't seen each other since the Belly days, right, HB?
Since Belly. No, actually, since X's wedding.
Since his wedding.
Wow.
This is his first wedding. Yep.
And we were looking at him because he was looking strong and healthy, jumping on speakers, man. I got a chance to introduce him. So I was like, yeah, man, that was one on my bucket list, you know. But I will say this, man. I think it was Fabulous who said this, who was at the studio that night, in terms of the music, the album you guys put together. This is an anointment right here. You know, you, DJ Premier, Dame Grease, you know, Kanye did something too, right? You know, this album is excellent. Not because of the circumstances necessarily. That makes it even more special. But because it's just a great album. Rich, you and I were talking about that when we left the studio. We went walking up Midtown by ourselves talking about it, right?
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. It is a complete masterpiece. Salute to you, my Virgo brother. It's a masterpiece. I mean, you know, I don't want to sound insulting to any other producer, but I don't think nobody else could have put it together like this. I mean, they would have got the album done, but it wouldn't have sounded this way. And I want to ask you, I mean, I want to dig into the creative part of it. You know, when you started putting it together, particularly this song with X, J, and Nas, were you channeling Vacant Lot at this time? Because it just, I was closing my eyes so much as I was listening, and I just felt like I was in the Vacant Lot.
Bath salts.
Oh. I wasn't thinking Vacant Lot. I was just thinking authentic dog. You know what I'm saying? Like I just had X in mind the whole time, and I had the best parts of X in mind the whole time. And I stepped back from being his brother. I went into like fan mode. Like, how do I want to hear DMX in 2021? And the key to that was him embracing his age at 50. You know, because a lot of iconic artists, they make a mistake of trying to be young and today, and it just don't fit well with them. Like, if you got gray hair, let your gray hair show. You know what I'm saying? And his music is timeless. People try to put a age limit on music when not. Greatness is greatness. And once X understood that he could be 50 and do what he do, it was over. You know what I'm saying? And I wish Premier was on the project. I wish Grease was on the project. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not on the project.
Oh, they're not on the project. Okay.
Nah.
Okay.
I just had Premier come to the studio just out of respect. You know, as a producer architect, to hear the record and things like that. I mean, Premier wanted to get on the record. We finished the album already at that time. You know what I'm saying? And Grease, I haven't spoken to Grease in years. I haven't spoken to Grease in years. But you know, I definitely see what you mean about the Vacant Lot sound, because, like, you know, it was that raw, hardcore, like the Griselda joint. You know what I'm saying? You know.
How did you choose who to guest on it? Because, I mean, you could have gotten anybody you wanted, but you hand-selected certain people. How did that thought process come about?
It was just people that I knew X respected. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the most features he ever had on the album. X never really had features because X don't know how to ask for things for himself. And I realized that. You know, so I'm like, the reason why he don't have features is X don't know how to ask somebody for a feature. Like, he's not gonna be like, yo, can you be on my album? Like, he's never gonna do that. And so as a producer, I had to do that. So I was bringing different things to the table when the beats were being done. I was like, man, you know what sound crazy on this? Such and such. And he'd be like, man, you think they'll do it? And I was like, let me check. 100. Everybody say yes. We didn't get one no. You know, everybody was saying yes to damn near every song got a feature on it. You know what I'm saying? And it felt good because he felt good. He felt the love. You know, he was in a very collaborative space. So when he seen Usher pull up to him at the studio, you know, he felt important. You know, when my wife pulled up and he was telling us selections of his favorite songs, and she was just playing it for him, like, he was feeling love. And the Griselda track, like, he actually went to their studio where they was at and did the track, which I thought was like, wow, I've never seen him do nothing like that. and he was just in a good space, very collaborative space. And even with the record with Bono, Bono wasn't there, but Bono drew some artwork for him for the record, wrote him a poem, everything, and X was just like, man, like, Bono, like, wrote me this, look at this, he wrote me this poem and sent me this artwork and saying, how amazing it is for his voice to be next to another great, DMX, the BMX, called him DMX, the BMX, so DMX the rider, right? And X was just floored over that, he felt like he was at the space where he belonged, and that's where I wanted to see him at, and that's where he belonged anyway. And so it was a great movement.
Excellent movement. Moneybagg Yo sounds great with him. That's a tandem that just doesn't happen. How did he feel about Moneybagg Yo?
Well, we didn't get to go over Moneybagg Yo because that's the only record on the album and the only verse that he didn't hear. Everything else he proves. So that song had Pop Smoke on it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of Pop Smoke fans like, yo, where's the Pop Smoke record? Da, da, da. But Pop Smoke, they used that verse that we had. We had two verses. They used both of those verses, and we just didn't want to put no used verses on the album, so we just went and did something different. But X wanted to embrace the youth on this album and the new artists on this album as well. So, as the producer of the album, I picked Moneybagg Yo for it.
Okay, great combination.
The song is called Money, Money, Money anyway.
Yeah. Yo, every song, I was sitting next to Sinqua, the actor, and every time a song came on, because, see, I was really in there focused listening to the music. Like, Swizz, if you asking the teen, I had a whole page of notes, where everybody,
right.
you saw me, Swizz, I was serious. Yeah. So, and then after about 30 minutes of that Khalifa Kush just floating in the air, man, I forgot where I was, man.
I'm still recovering. You don't hear my voice. I'm still recovering.
Wow.
Yo, Swizz.
I heard him say, "What's in that, man? My throat is burning."
Yeah, you seen I was making an announcement. I couldn't take it no more. I'm like, man, I can't even breathe. That thing is like burning my throat. Like, jeez.
It was great though. It set for a great vibe. Speak to you talked about Snoop. Snoop is such a amazing human being. We all know Snoop. I've known him since the early '90s. Him hosting you guys to be in the studio and start recording his album. What was that experience like, just being in Snoop's studio?
Well, first of all, Snoop is an amazing, amazing host, an amazing brother, an amazing artist. It's one thing to have your music iconic, but for you to actually be a great person on top of that, it's just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Snoop, you know what I'm saying? Like, Snoop hospitality was on 2000. Like, Snoop was personally cooking for us every night in that studio with his own hands. Snoop made sure that everything was proper for Dog and made sure that his house was our house. And that helped us because it made X feel very comfortable in there to where we didn't have to leave LA or change to another studio. And Snoop was Snoop got a lot of points, more points, because he already had points to me. He got way more points for the way that he treated Dog in that studio, man. Like, that was to see that in our culture and our business is the first time I've seen that. Like,
yeah.
People are nice and cool, but that man Snoop was making sure we had dinner every night with him cooking it. I ain't never seen that one.
God bless.
What was his chef skills like on a scale of 1 through 10, Swizz?
He learned from Martha, Sway.
He learned from Martha, baby. It was a 10 to me.
Okay, there you go.
It was a 10 to me.
All right, Swizz Beatz is here. Exodus is dropping Friday. Everybody within the sound of our voice, make sure you support this project. Where would you?
One small question.
How would you characterize?
Wait. Is this going to be?
Hold up, Rich.
Going to be a physical copy?
Yeah, because the requests are coming in heavy for it. We got vinyl coming, and I think we got CDs coming. People are People are treating it like a collectible. So we added that. It's not going to drop the same. It's not going to drop this Friday. It's going to come a little after because that was a late placement. You know what I'm saying? But the request for it has been overwhelming.
So you're going to do that CD. How would you, having worked with him his entire career, how would you characterize this album for DMX?
Masterpiece. You know, I think it's a masterpiece because it's a curated body of work. He was super present for it. You know, a lot of people kind of, you know, this is not an album that we put together once he passed away. This is an album that he did while he was here. He vibed with all the artists except for one. He was in the studio for everything. You know, this is a DMX album. This is not a piece together album to celebrate his death or anything like that. This is an album that was coming out either way. This is what he was excited about. And I just think it's important for people to know that. Cause I see the titles and how they writing up everything. Nah, man, X did this album while he was here.
Okay. So we're going to make it a celebration then. That's how I'm going to take it, brother. If you don't mind. I'm going to celebrate that man's presence in our lives, his legacy. It lives on. Those amazing, beautiful kids he has. And these songs, bro, these songs are different. When you hear the Bono song, it's like, what is this? I've never really heard anything, you know, that kind of tandem come together. When you hear, what's the song AK is on, Hold Me Down?
Yeah.
But when you hear Walking in the Rain,
Letter to My Son.
all of these songs. Letter to My Son is so. What's the line he says in that Swizz about? I don't know what you thought about my.
I don't know what you thought about my use of drugs, but it taught you enough to not use the drugs. Jeez.
Oof, come on, man. That's a letter to his son, his oldest son, and so the entire project, man. You've ascended to a whole new level, brother. I mean, you've been helping us get through this quarantine, the coronavirus, the pandemic with Versus, which has been legendary, and now this and all the other different things you do. And I listen to you. I watch you in your IG. Thank you, Swizz. I appreciate you. I have one request, if I may.
Sure.
One request. Can we get Stevie Wonder and Lionel Richie to do a Versus?
Is that the one you want?
Yes,
That's
sir.
the one I want, brother.
You don't want Stevie and Quincy?
Okay, I'll take that. Can I get that too?
Can I get fries with that?
I didn't know we could get Quincy, y'all. Okay, we could get Quincy.
Yeah.
You know what? And also, go ahead, Swizz.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say while we
I
on the
think that
subject
was-
of verses, if we can clear up, I'm not sure if it's official or not because a lot of people will put these matchups together, but I be waiting for the Swizz and Tim like go ahead. Is Bow Wow and Soulja Boy really happening?
Yeah, that's happening. You know, a lot of people, because we was waiting. Like me and Tim got our anniversary coming up this Sunday at Live in Miami,
Right.
rematch. Right, so we was kind of wanting to wait for that to go past and then announce it, but they went ahead and announced it pretty early. So to all the Versus fans that think that we put this in place that no, if you look at our calendar, we had a Memorial Day weekend special, and that's the rematch. It says rematch on there, right? But we're gonna do the Bow Wow and Soulja Boy rollout proper, like how we do everything. But you know, I like that they out there having fun and putting it out there, and it's organic. You know, everything don't have to go through the machine, and you know, I just like that they want to celebrate. You know, they brought a lot of things to the music industry at a young age, and that should be celebrated too.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, Swizz. So, do we agree on Stevie and Quincy? Is that etched in stone? Do we agree on that, everybody? We all agree?
I don't know if it's etched, but we definitely agree.
I love
there
it.
you go. My man, Swizz Beatz, man. Swizz, love you, brother. Hey, listen, man. Love you, man. That's that's in two words.
Man.
Love you. Keep going.
Love,
brother.
All of you guys.
Absolutely, man.
Same
Send
here.
our love to the family. Thank you for being on the show today. And y'all look for the Exodus project. We'll be talking about it all the time and playing a lot of those bangers. Swizz Beatz, give it up for Swizz Beatz. He's a citizen.
Sway in the morning. Zone.
Okay, Swizz, have a beautiful day, brother. Thanks for calling in.
All right, thanks, King.
Peace.